All right, good evening everyone and welcome to a setup slash walkthrough analysis video. Again Monday today, so let's have a look at the calendar. So we just had core retail sales, the data came in favor of the dollar. And then we have pretty much, I'm not going to go everything, but we have pretty much a currency focused week. And really that doesn't really, bother me that much. Let's start with the walkthrough analysis of crypto. So we're starting off with crypto. Specifically Ethereum. Okay, I posted this on my community tab on my YouTube channel that this right here, in my opinion, is a trapped sellers pattern. So anytime in a bull run, right, if we get a break below the Kumo, right, a sharp break below the Kumo, I pretty much tend to assume that it's going to get bought up, and in this case, it has been bought up. Okay, so when you saw that, sort of when I saw that on the daily, right, to me any pullback below this region, below this red line was a buy, which I did. I did buy in there with my stops right there, and I am personally targeting a break of the Kumo as my first target. Okay, and I'm targeting the 3.75 region as my final target. I am personally not looking to take it to and make a higher high, just because, just due to how the weekly looks. Okay, if you look at the weekly, I personally don't think the market's going to visit that high anytime soon, and I could be wrong. Okay, but that's not my concern. Okay, my concern is to get a good buy in, which I have, and then close it at a appropriate target, which I think lies somewhere above the Kumo, right in that key zone, so 3.4k region, and above the 3.7k region. Okay, so that's it for the Ethereum trade. The trade looks like this. Okay, if you have to have a look, or rather if you want to have a look at the chart, the trade looks like this. Oops. So there's a stop. You can have your stops there, absolutely not a problem. I'm having my stops there. Okay, and 3.4 ish is my first target. So again, this breakdown candle gap fill is my first target, and my second target is above that, basically this region, 3.8k region. Okay, now why do I have this sort of drawn and marked up here? So I am looking at looking at another setup, because the setup that I was talking about actually played out on Sunday, right? And we know that most of the markets are closed on Sunday, except for crypto, centralized and decentralized exchanges. So I got a fill because my firm allows me to trade crypto on Sunday. A lot of people might not have that fill. So in that case, I'm looking for another setup in which I expect a clean break and hold above the Saturday's high. Okay. Once we have a clean break and hold above the Saturday's high, we have pretty much convinced everybody that we are going to go up, right, up and target above, and then I need a clean flush down. So to me, anything below the weekly open up until this low is a very good buy region. Okay, right, anything in this area is a very good buy, targeting the last week's high. So in this case, we are combining a bit of weekly price action, some context from Ichimoku, and overall Fib strategy, which is our bread and butter strategy. Okay, so let's quickly go over that again. Clean break and hold above the Sunday's high. Convince everybody that you're going to go up, and then give me a nice clean pullback below the weekly open or towards the last month's low, and get bought back up, right? Or stop me out. Any one of them can be true. So that's it for Ethereum. Two setups on Ethereum. One we are in, one we're already in. So you can see we're already in this setup. That is our fill, quite a cheesy fill. Generally, the track record with such cheesy fills is that they tend to stop me out. Okay, let's hope so they don't, or it doesn't in this case. Okay, that's my fill. That's my first order of 5 Ethereum, and we'll see if we can get anything beyond that. Okay, let's see. Let's see if we can get it. So that's it for crypto. Moving on to where should let's start with currencies. Since it's a currency packed event, let's start with currencies, and let's start with EG. Okay, so on EG we have a low, high sweep, a local low there, and then a low high and a proper low. It is giving the assumption that it has held on to the low of the last week. I think it is going down to the 1.2x extension. Do we have the trend? Yes. Do we have the weekly open trigger? Yes, but I wouldn't really give it 100%. I would give it something like a 70-30 ratio. So yes, 70% we do have a weekly trigger, 30% we don't. Because with the fib strategy, we have seen time and time again that the market tends to hold on to the low and then proceeds to go and take out the high. So then what additional factor of confluence am I looking at when I'm considering the EG trade? So let's go over to the Ichimoku. Okay. So on Ichimoku, I want a daily close below the Senko span A. Okay, these are the default settings because I use default settings for the rest of the market and double settings for crypto. And what I'm basically looking at is a clean break below the SSA to go ahead with my EG short. Okay, so we already have the trend. Okay, and we already have that weekly open trigger. We are just looking for a final trigger, so we are looking for a clean break below this region or even the last week's low, and then we short a pullback into the weekly range and target that and potentially target that. So that's it for my EG trade. Okay, just gonna post it because why not? Okay, why not? Pretty much a self-explanatory chart. There's nothing to write about there. Okay, next thing I am actually interested in is NZT USD. Why? Well, quite simple. Trend of the market and weekly open triggers. So we can see that the market tipped below the last week's low, closed as an SFP, tried to make a higher high, did make a higher high, then only to do what? Make a lower low. So now I don't care. Okay, I don't care if the market closes below this low or not. As long as the market closes below the last week's low, I am fine with it. I might short there, right? Or I might short about that region. My stops are pretty much going to be in this area. Risky in my opinion, because the market can easily blip there and then drop off. But then let's just not complicate things, right? Like we did last week, and just go with the triggers. If we get stopped out there, I might re-enter once the market closes below the weekly open. Okay, so don't care about that sweep, right? There's no need to care about that sweep. Let's just go with the flow, either short in there or there and target that region or the 1.2x Fibonacci level. That's all I can do from the weekly triggers. Again, self-explanatory. I'm not going to write everything down. So that's it for NZT USD. We are already done with EG. I am not interested in Euro, and I am also not interested in AUD USD. Well, I could be, but the price action needs to come to me, right? I'm not going to go to the price action. Dollar again is bullish. It has gapped up on the core retail sales data. I think it might reset and then go back up again, but then let's just keep it there because we are not trading the euro. So I don't really care that much about the dollar as well. CAD is something I'm looking to go long on. Okay. So it has already expanded quite a lot on the monthly basis, but then again, weekly traders, so we are looking for basically a long setup, which can look something like this. So there's the eye up there, right? It has pretended that it wants to go up. If it comes back down into that low and starts to make a lower low, I am sure a lot of shorts will step in. And at that point in time, if it goes ahead and has a break of market structure, maybe closes above the weekly open, we can go and target the 1.2x extension of the week or the 2x monthly extension. So you can either target the 2x monthly extension or the 1.2x weekly extension. Okay, so yes, that's a trade I am willing to take if I get the triggers. These are the USD XXX. Again, not going to write anything. I'm too lazy today. So then that's it for the currencies. Is there anything else I need to go over? I don't think so. Okay. Why am I not selling EG? Because even though it has a trigger, why am I not selling EG? Because you can see that this spot, right, from this spot, it just tends to get bought up for some reason. And since there's a Kumo here, right, the market might try to pull in a fade on me. Low probability, but it can happen. And based on my performance last week, I really don't want to go ahead without any sort of confirmations this week on any trade. Okay. The only risky play this week is Ethereum, because I've seen such a nice pattern on Ethereum, or such a nice setup on Ethereum, that I just could not stop myself from going long on Ethereum. Okay, if it stops me out, so be it. I don't really, like, I would not remorse over that stop. Okay. Or over that loss. Oil, interesting. Okay. Not because how the price action looks, but because how the Ichimoku looks. So if you just hide everything and you look at oil, it has been taking out the lows, right, quite nicely. Takes out the low, bounces, right, holds on to that low, then takes out the low, bounces. Again, it's taken out the low. Is it going to bounce? I personally don't think so. I think it's going to come down to a region, which I'll show you in a few moments. First, let's just paste this chart on the oil channel. Okay. So I personally believe oil is going to come down, at least for the moment, right? For this week, maybe yes, it can come down. So there's the oil. Okay. So there's a Kijun. I don't personally think it's going to come down to the Kijun. Okay. But it might come down to this area. Okay. So you can see that oil is trying to break out of its monthly Kumo, which is nice, obviously. It has actually ended up at the edge of the monthly Kumo. So I think if the market tries to come back down there, there's going to be a lot of liquidity there, and then we can drive up prices from there. But from this point, from point A to point B, is what I want to trade this week. Okay. This is what I want to trade this week. So we are going to focus on that, and we are going to focus on shorting oil. Again, not without the triggers. Okay, we need good clean triggers to short oil, and so far the market has given us a bit, right? It has given us a bit, but not exactly what we want, because we have the weekly open, we have a very clean lower low, right, close below the last week's low. If the market comes back down and closes below the last week's low again, that's fine as well. If it makes another lower low, that is awesome, right? Makes another low, that is awesome. That is when I would look to take the market down there. Obviously not before a pullback to the upside. So that is something we are looking forward to doing on oil this week. Apart from that, can oil just go up from here? 100%, right? For that, we don't have to wait. If the market breaks back above that high, just after putting in this low and breaks back above that high again, I would cancel all the short orders or short bias in my mind, and then we'll just leave oil as it is. Don't really care what it does. Silver is something I'm looking to go long on. Okay. Why? Well, local range, breakout, full reset, clean close above the local range, and a higher high. That's enough reason for me to go long on silver. We are looking to target that 30. We are basically looking to target 30. Okay. 1 unit of ZAG going to cost 30. And that's what we'll aim for this week. I hope I am still recording. If not, that will be a shame. So I said looking for longs on silver. Once the close happens, once we have this close, I'm going to go in and buy, right? I think anything below this area is a good buy, expecting the low of the week to hold. So you can, in my opinion, you can buy in there. That's not a problem. And you can expect this low to hold, right? May hold, may or not hold, but then not my concern. And we are looking to go and target that. Yep. Apart from that, do I have anything? No, nothing. Right, it might hit target without us. That's okay. Gold has done nothing, right? Has done nothing off of the weekly open. Just leave it as it is. DAX, well, looks quite strong. So the higher low that I was expecting last week. So if you know, this was our first loss. So we were expecting a higher low from the market in this region. The higher low that I was expecting here might actually have happened here once it sort of, blew through this local range and made a higher high. Might assume that the lower high is in and the market might go for a higher high. Again, not trying to trade macro, but simply if you look by the weekly structure, that is the high that created a low. We have a higher high, higher low. If the market closes back above, we have a higher high. Okay. In that case, I mean, you can buy the mid range and you can target the last month's high. I absolutely have no issues with this setup on DAX. I think it's a good setup. It might play out, might not play out, because might not play out. Why I say that? Because the H4 market structure is bearish. So again, it might not play out, but I don't think there's any harm in trying to go long on a market that has been trending up since I don't know when. Okay, start of the year. So I don't think there's any harm in going long. What I want to do is, right, I want Tuesday's London. Okay, listen to it carefully, because this is what we tried to do last time but couldn't really execute it properly. So I want Tuesday's London Open to give me a low which I can use as my stop. Okay, so what I simply mean by that is, let's assume this is Monday done. So Tuesday when the market, sorry if I got too loud, Tuesday when the market opens somewhere in there, okay, let's assume it opens there. There's my London, right? I want London to give me a low break of market structure, okay? Then I can buy in the mid range, maybe expect this low, right? Weekly open low to hold, and then target firstly the last week's high, and then the monthly open, and then so on and so forth. Okay, so that is going to be my trigger plan for DAX. Okay, so in this case I'll have to write what I have just said. Okay, I don't really correct my typos, I just leave them be. Not a perfectionist. Okay, so that's it for DAX. We're done with DAX, we're done with all of the above. S&P and NAS, I honestly do not have any clue. Looking at their price action, I just cannot make sense of it. If you can, that's great, good for you, trade them. If they make sense, to me they don't, so I won't trade any of the US indices unless they gave me a good price action. EG 100% we are looking to go short, so let's just add an alert there. If the market breaks below that low, right, get ready to place short orders. We might not get an opportunity, but that's okay. I don't want to get caught up in, and say that, oh, why were you shorting support, right? You want a short break of support, don't want a short support. Okay, even though in this case it looks quite obvious that it might just drop off and break support. And that's it for the walkthrough analysis. This was pretty much a walkthrough analysis rather than a setup video, because I personally didn't knew that there were so many setups already playing out in the market. Okay, so that's about it. See you tomorrow, or I don't know, maybe straight up at the end of week remarks video, whatever. Okay, bye bye, take